Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Alphas, Season 1, Episode 11, Original Sin, and this is the season finale of Season 1. Thank you so much, Jessie, for sponsoring this show. I'm very stressed about watching this because finales are forever stressful and they like to have cliffhangers, and I have come to care about these characters a lot, and the last episode was stressful enough with wondering who the mole was and if they were all going to be suspected, and God knows what the finale has in store. So yes, without further ado, let's go. Okay. Oh lord. She's alphaing.
Sullivan said that red flag leaders have been vanishing off the grid all week. Something's up.
Well, he's our only lead.
They're taking themselves out?
Keep an eye on him.
Or are they going dark? We are not qualified for this.
Don't, come on.
Jesus Christ. Who are they and what are they involved in? Is she also an alpha? Too late for Will.
We were supposed to be following him.
Well, he killed someone. So...
You killed him. Danielle.
He knows her?
Push her to come with us.
Oof. An alpha they know? She didn't manage to fight that guy off, did she?
Go after her. What's so special about the girl? She's my daughter.
He has an alpha daughter? Holy shit. That might explain him being a very invested man, but you think he'd be more concerned with making sure there wasn't a secret government facility where they experimented on alphas without any trials or civil rights, wouldn't you?
Danielle Sophia Rosen. She ran away from home at 17 and she was arrested.
No, look, not about Rosen's daughter, about Isaac Hale.
No,
We'll get to that.
Rachel did. But
Hello, where's everybody?
Yeah.
Who's manning the fort?
Is he okay after what happened?
yeah, Bill, I am in charge when no one else is here.
Hmm.
What are you doing here anyway? You're sick. You should be resting. Sick. No star hotel. There's only one review. Says don't stay here.
It's a good place to hide. Lose yourself, no money. Low money, at least.
Jenny?
She ran away from you. Running around shouting her name isn't going to do anything.
I don't want you here.
Well, I don't want you here. I want you to come with me.
She's not gonna. Or if she does, it's because she has no other options.
What are you gonna do? Give me another therapy session?
Holy crap.
Jenny, run. Come on.
She can probably run faster without you holding her, admittedly. What has she got that he wants? Can she use her ability on him? Or the fire extinguisher? He's still trying to hold his daughter. Oh my god. Who did that? Is that Cameron? Yeah.
Better than the Ritalin you used to give me, even better than the Trazodone, and better than the OxyContin, which, by the way, I did take a few hours ago, just in case you were going to ask me to give you a urine sample next. Just wanted to
Okay,
warn you.
okay.
Honesty?
Fine. It's lamotrigine.
There's a lot of history here.
And I remember that disapproving look.
Yes, there is a lot of past here, and I want to know it all.
We've been monitoring Red Flag's communications ever since their leaders started dropping off the grid. We don't know what they're planning or where, but we have a timeline now, so we are on the clock.
But what if they've let you have that timeline? It seems suspicious to me.
If your daughter can help us with this case, great. But if not, you're a therapist. Compartmentalize.
He's a therapist, not a field agent or
I know
a super spy.
but I wouldn't have.
You want to help?
He does, but she clearly has a lot of lack of trust for him.
Well, I love you too.
He's your dad. I guess he didn't understand that she was an alpha, and so he did everything wrong when he was trying to help her. In a lot of ways, this episode has been way too calm. And does he meet with Anna in person? I don't know that I trust this.
Anna, it's good to see you.
It's not good to see her, sweetheart. I definitely
Well,
think
they say that we can't meet up, but
she wants something from you.
Yeah, I've missed them too. And Dr. Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Gary. Just please tell me Anna isn't killing people.
Stanton Parrish is a very dangerous man. You shouldn't be asking questions about him.
He's not
Anna, you
dead.
said is.
You need to go now, Gary.
She thought he knew
Why-
more than he
why do I
did,
have
and
to go
did she
now?
want to warn him off? At least
I
maybe
just
we
got
can
here.
trust
Why
Anna.
do I? Anna, don't
That
make
she
me
cares
go.
about
It's
Gary, at
difficult for me to
least.
come and see you.
He is definitely alive, and what is his ability?
Would stroke her arm, and she'd feel better. Empathic contagion, right? Isn't that what you call it?
Oof.
Right, that's right.
Well, that was
Did
me.
he know?
I was Mommy's little helper.
That was before I knew about
You're
your
right, Dad.
ability.
You're always right. Except with
Because you could just think that having a baby, her little girl with her might make her feel better.
Mom and I moved out.
Things did not. Things aren't always as he seems. I think Dr. Rosen is also guilty of lying to himself about certain things.
It's a book by a dead guy, and then when I asked Anna about it, she just lied to me.
When you spoke with Anna, I expressly told you not to do
Look, I
that.
told him the same thing, okay? But he
So I did another search, but not by name, by face, and that's the creepy part Bill was talking about.
He
There-
hasn't
he was a
changed.
scientist in Russia for their MK Ultra program.
Wait, this is from the Civil War.
Yeah, it's old.
he was about 40 years old, right? Same guy, 100 years later when he worked for MK Ultra.
He's like an original Alpha. One of the first, if not the first.
Alpha who doesn't age.
It's the manifesto. Bill says it's the.
He has
Red
been
Flag
working on
playbook.
that for a real long time.
Alpha, this from the leader of Red Flag, Stanton Parrish. He's called this meeting.
We confirmed the intel that you
This
gave
is
us.
huge.
Let's work on that.
Red Flag's methods invalidate everything they're fighting for. You know, it almost feels like they want to wipe out ordinary humans or enslave them or something in order to be better, and we should just try and work together.
Well, he called the meeting. Nice.
Yes, Senator.
Gary, maybe you should go home.
No, I'm not going home.
Or does
Anna's
he
gonna
not
be
trust
there.
her?
I'm gonna be there. I'm part of
Is
the
she really
team.
on the phone
Okay, well, I'll
too?
join in with tactical, do what I can, and I'll protect Anna.
What was that?
Yeah.
Doc, you'll...
To put that kind of stress
This
on
is
your heart.
Red Flag versus us. This is Endgame. I'm in.
But Endgame didn't end well, okay? For a lot of people.
I used you to try to save a marriage that I'd already ruined.
It's big of him to admit that. Doesn't necessarily make it better.
I don't expect you to say anything. You don't have to.
The key thing in this kind of situation is for him to acknowledge his mistakes,
You hear it.
offer his apology, and offer to be there for her now, and it's up to her how much she wants to take. Oh, Jesus. This is a finale. Is it going to have a cliffhanger? I'm trying to think if other sci-fi-esque shows that I've watched, well, I mean shows on the Sci-Fi Channel, have cliffhangers, and I think they do. Oh, that's Anna's dude. Is she scared? Are they all scared? Because they know they don't necessarily all agree with Stanton Parrish. They're kind of just trapped
Dr.
there.
Rosen.
He never showed, and neither have about another dozen Red Flag leaders, and from what I can hear inside, they are not happy about it.
He calls the meeting and doesn't show.
Is he wiping out dissenters? Is he wiping out the dissenters within the Red Flag ranks?
Public.
Going public.
Telling the world the truth about alphas.
Whoa.
Remember, stick with your
That
team.
would kind of
Watch
force a
the fire.
discussion on rights, but it could also go horribly wrong.
So you think we're walking into an ambush?
No, I think we are the ambush.
Yep.
Stanton Parrish gathered these people here.
Yep.
Ships us off to their location just so they can right
You
into
are
his
betting.
hands.
You think. A week ago, you didn't even know that Stanton Parrish existed.
It's pretty
Now
obvious.
You're in his head. I don't have time for your theories.
Like,
Do the people in
also a
that
week ago, like
building
last
know
night, we didn't know he existed, but
Not that simple.
the fact that he didn't show up is pretty key. Surely we should be holding out in case he turns up.
I'm not saying that they're
Go!
God, there's more nuance to this situation than just go make big boom. He is using you and he's playing you like a fiddle. And it all stems to the fear of the unknown.
This is a mistake. This is a big mistake.
Someone watch over Gary, please. He will run in there. This is a huge mistake.
Can't push anyone. You should be hanging back.
Uh-huh. Why is she going in? She's not tactically trained. Fuck, fuck, fuck. These are probably the least aggressive of Red Flag, the ones that put up the most resistance to his plans.
No.
We don't even necessarily have proof all these people are bad. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I just... I don't even know how I feel about this. I mean, obviously, red flag, they have killed people, they've done terrorist attacks. I don't agree with that. But I don't think the government, what they'd want to do to them is right. And holy shit.
Copy that.
No!
Fire is authorized. Return
There are not,
fire is
everyone
authorized.
in there is not guilty. They are not all guilty. Holy shit. Firing at your own fucking agents now, are you? That's how they view all alphas the same. Just want to shoot them all. I don't like this. This plan was wrong. We should have, when we realised that the guy we thought was going to be here wasn't here, we should have done more. We should have... Fucking hell, dude, stand down. You're going to be shot. When we realised that the leader wasn't here, we should have stood down and reassessed the situation.
Anna, it's okay. Anna, come on. I'll help carry you.
Anna? Is she dead? Holy shit.
Anna.
Is that why her bodyguard left her, or did one of them do it? It might. I mean, I want to say it. Oh, fuck. This is wrong. This always was wrong. This was not the way to do it. Fuck.
He's one of us. He's one of us.
He's one of them as well. This was wrong. They went about this all wrong, as the military likes to. Government forces.
If I had a gas mask, I probably could have saved her.
No, my love.
You don't know that.
Now, did they kill her intentionally? Because it was through the head, like, you know, headshot. But I can't think anybody would have seen her and been threatened by her. So if anyone intentionally killed her, it was an execution, it was murder. But if it was a stray bullet, it was still murder. That just was so wrong in so many ways. And it really showed the way they are viewing these people. I mean, I know they were terrorists and they're responsible for some terrible incidents, but you still don't have to resort to that.
Yeah, well, you don't know either. No.
Hey, this is still a win, Lee.
It's
Win for who?
not.
Us or Stanton Parish?
Mm-hmm.
Parish exists. We'll get him. So you have whatever resources you need.
You literally just did his bidding, wiping out the people in his organisation that maybe were trying to keep him in check.
How would you do?
So sure.
He has his girl home. Did he finish that conversation with his team? Because it was very important.
You can't even imagine, Dad.
I'm scared that she hasn't actually forgiven him, or that there's more to this.
And to intellect everything from an
That she's
analytical
working with
standpoint.
Stanton Parish, that this was all a setup somehow. Wants the best for his little girl, like he truly does want the best for his team. Fucking hell.
I'm Stanton Parish.
Yes, we know.
By helping you purge Red Flag of everyone not in lockstep with your plans? You're upset about that.
Obviously.
Secret. War. It's
Mhm.
inevitable.
No, it's not.
Maybe 3. Nothing.
Not if we intentionally find a way to try and make peace to show that alphas are not a threat. But if alphas present themselves as terrorists, they'll be viewed that way.
People die because of your plans. I've helped you enough. Think about it. You'll come around.
If he wasn't willing to murder people, you'd so be interested in his ideas. If he was trying to get a peaceful resolution to all of this.
Red Flag is a radical alpha organization which is willing to do anything, even commit murder, to advance its cause.
What did the government just do?
Cameron, Danny's at my house. We will look in on her.
Some of them, like,
Yeah, keep her safe. Now, the government's
Anna and whatnot, were not a threat.
Believe that Binghamton is nowhere near capacity, am I right?
Binghamton is not the fucking answer.
I was coming to that. Where alphas are confined and subjected to experiments without any respect paid to their civil rights or their humanity. Binghamton is not the answer.
Good.
Binghamton is
Finally.
part of the problem. Are two sides of the same coin. They both rely
What are they doing?
frequently on violence.
Son of a bitch is actually going through with this.
Are they outing alphas?
Dr. Rosen, that's very interesting.
Darkness, and by our keeping the alpha phenomenon,
Oh my god. We're doing the thing that Anna wanted.
and to all of you watching, alphas exist.
Oh my
They
god.
are among us. They are our friends and our spouses.
He can still work this into his war agenda though.
We have been hiding.
Yep.
Yes.
I knew it. I knew she was part of it. I knew she was working with him. She came round to him too quick as well.
Sharing this truth, it will become evident that it's time for everyone to open their eyes, to open their minds, and to open their...
I mean, he can do another statement whenever he wants to, unless you send him to prison. Okay, the episode felt about 6 years long. Oh my god. So much happened. From finding out that Dr. Rosen's daughter, estranged daughter, was an alpha, and that he was not a good or understanding father to her in a lot of ways, and that caused her to run away. Now, I can see that. Now, I don't want to meet, like, I like Dr. Rosen a lot. I do think he wants the best for people, and I do think that if he could just wave a magic wand and get the future he wanted, it would be a beautiful world. But I also think that, as he admitted in his episode, he is quick to use people. He is so analytical and scientific that I think sometimes he kind of forgets that these are actually people with feelings and that you can't just put the pieces into place. And I could definitely see him, when faced with his daughter seemingly initially being ill or unwell, having something different about her that is causing her pain and you know, is not something they can understand. I could see him immediately putting his scientific brain to the test of, I will fix this, and kind of losing himself to that, and losing the fact that that's his daughter who needs him really just to be her dad. And I think it's actually quite a human thing, the idea of him using his daughter to calm the mum, to try and save the marriage and things like that, because people, I mean, they don't do it obviously with alpha abilities, but there will be parents who will try and use their kids within their disputes, whether it's trying to make things better or worse. It's a very human emotion, and I like that Dr. Rosen isn't a black and white hero. My favourite thing in this episode, I mean, it was also a terrifying thing called What on Earth is Season 2 going to be, but is that he not only outed alphas, but that he did it initially by outing Binghamton, because that has been my biggest issue with him, that he wants this bright world for them. He preaches, well, he preaches isn't the right word, he tells his team that he's there for them, that he'll do anything to protect them, but with a flick of, you know, with a nod from a higher up guy in the chain, they'll be sent to Binghamton, 0 rights, experimented on, no one will ever know where they are ever again. And that is wrong. That even if the only alphas you send there are terrorists, or even if there is an alpha who either cannot control an ability that could hurt people, or will not control an ability that could hurt people, that wants to hurt people, yes, maybe then they might need super secure prisons that are specifically for alphas, but it shouldn't just be anyone that disagrees with you, or that won't say, yes, Mr. Government, no, Mr. Government. Then we have the raid, and that went south. I think in a lot of ways shows like to have it be that, you know, the main characters can see the truth, but the stuffy military police people are like, no, we're right. But I also think there's a degree of truth in that. I mean, if you look at the problems, the systemic problems within the different police forces and militaries around the world, the fact that your mission was there to deal, initially the mission was just to deal with whatever was happening with Red Flag, and then you're told the leadership of Red Flag and various other people are also supposed to be at this meeting, and they do not turn up. And you have someone that is, you have, in the real world, I guess, listening devices that can tell you what's inside, and they say that they are concerned that the leadership isn't there, that they are arguing and fighting, that they are clearly the dissenting voices, the voices that do not do whatever this leader wants. They are, if anything, the voices that you should be shielding from being arrested and killed, and trying to make sure that they become the predominant voices, because hopefully they'll at the very least be the less violent arm of it all. I mean, potentially arresting them, maybe, but there was no need to go in like that. I mean, to be honest, they could have just surrounded all of the exits to the building, had like a ring of soldiers around the factory so they could not escape, and just tranquilise them as they left. You know, I mean, maybe, yes, once knives started being thrown, I get that they were like, they're killing us. But one person threw one knife. That is not an excuse to open fire with bullets. That is an excuse to pull back, to, you know, retreat to the exits and do something about that, to get shields, to get better helmets and take off the masks, you know. Just opening fire in a dark, cramped factory where there is smoke in the air so you cannot see properly. Bill took a bullet to the chest. They could have just killed Bill. It just so irresponsible, but also I think so believable that it just made me so angry, and you know, by the end I was almost willing to sign up to Red Flag. Now, I say almost because they also just kill people, but it kind of made you think which side at the end of the day is better. Both of these people are fighting for what they think is right, doing what they think is the right thing and what they believe in, and therefore it makes it necessary. But then, you know, Anna was not a threat. I mean, yes, her mind was a threat, you know, letting her go would potentially be a threat because, you know, she's authored various assassinations and whatnot. But physically speaking, in that moment, she was stuck. You know, come in, arrest her. She can't run away. Like, she's not going to be able to elude you in that way. There was no need to bring fire around her. That is putting someone at risk who is not a physical threat, and I don't think there was ever a call for that. Most especially not in a situation like this. For Gary to be the one that found her there, it wasn't even like someone had to tell him, although I think he probably would have had to see it to truly believe it. Just the desperation he had to go in there, and the fact that he'll always carry with him that this first person he kind of felt the same with. I think to an extent, I guess when he found out about alphas, he would have felt like, oh, I'm the same. But this was someone that kind of thought in a similar way to him, that understood him, that didn't view him as different as some of the others do. And they're becoming less. They're treating him less like that. And I think like his mum, and he's asserting his own independence, and he's not being as infantilized by kind of the various other adults in his life, because he's an adult, he's not a child. And in some ways, yeah, Gary does need to grow up a little bit. You know, even like he said, you know, I get in my way because I wear people down, which I love. But it's also like, well, as an adult, sometimes you just have to accept that you can't have your way. But he is growing and maturing, and we've seen so much of that this season. And for it to culminate in him losing Anna, it breaks my heart. And it makes me worried that he's someone that could be swayed towards Red Flag. Although, to be honest, they all know that Red Flag is the reason behind it, which is why the government was so stupid. They literally just did his dirty work. Yes, those were all terrorists. And yes, maybe it wouldn't be the reality that we could just let them go because they're the least bad terrorists, or maybe they'll be a thorn in the side of the really bad terrorists. Obviously, that's not how it works. But there was no call to just massacre them, and it became a massacre. It wasn't even like, you know, after the initial blade, we shot, and then it was now stand down, because I feel like once you start getting bullets in the head left, right and centre, you will surrender. There would have been multiple people in there, just like there are on our team, whose alpha abilities are not innately threatening. They cannot be used to harm. So for the team, I think they are in such a difficult position because ideologically, Red Flag, I say ideologically Red Flag is where you'd want to be, and I think it was more Anna's version of Red Flag was where you'd want to be, because they want a world in which alphas and humans, or original humans, can just live at peace and be happy and aren't a threat to each other, aren't threatened by each other. Because something I always argue in shows is you have someone like in shows with people with super abilities. You have people like Michael Phelps, he's a super freaky swimmer. There is something in his DNA that marks him as different. Simone Biles with her gymnastics, there is something in DNA. I mean, both of them, it's also hard work. But then there are lots of people who do just as much hard work but don't have that innate talent in their DNA. Should I be like, they're scary, they could swim at me and flip at me and kill me, you know? Or men who are innately stronger than me, big muscly men, should I be like, actually, I believe they should be locked up because they could hurt me very easily. It's just, there are always people with different abilities, different things. Should everyone who has an IQ above a certain level be locked up in case they get some diabolical plan? It doesn't work that way. And yes, there needs to be some kind of, you know, obviously they need to be held to account if they do anything wrong, and it's completely natural and human nature to be afraid of something, to be afraid of someone more powerful than you. But we live in a world where people can have access to machine guns and all sorts of weapons that make them more powerful than you. I think the best solution would definitely be a peaceful one. And then you have alphas. You have like the alphas, like the Brotherhood in X-Men and things, who kind of view the fact that, oh, if we're revealed, they're going to be scared of us, or there might be some hate crimes against us. Therefore, we should go and we should wipe them out, or we should demolish their leadership and become the leaders, and they can be subservient to us. And that entirely makes the problem worse, because the majority of people are just living their lives, and if you go around blowing things up and being like, we are alphas, we are superior, they're going to be like, fucking hell, alphas are scary, I wish they were all gone. Yeah, I support that proposal to wipe them out. You know, it just breeds it's a cyclical cycle, and it's a cyclical cycle, did you know that? And it's exactly what you kind of saw with Islamophobia after 9/11. That, you know, the 9/11 attacks caused a horrendous wave of Islamophobia that is in no way defendable, but that rush of outrage of that all that Islamophobia really helped create an environment in which young Muslims who were being bullied and oppressed and seeing their loved ones treated as though they were criminals started to be more susceptible, some of them, obviously not all, to people from the, like, to the jihadists. And then it's in, as with every single situation, when you have people being treated unfairly, then more like if someone comes along and says, God, aren't those people treating you unfairly? Come join us, we'll stop them. You're more susceptible to it, and that is what both the government is doing, that is what Red Flag is doing, and it's just a mess, and we're going into hell. So I love the way they've, the world they've created with the, it's very real, and in some ways it's quite stressful because I feel like our real world is going to hell. Sad to watch another one. But for our team, they don't really side with either side at the moment, I would say, because they don't agree with Binghamton, they don't agree with the actions taken against Red Flag there, but they also don't agree with Red Flag. They are themselves, and I loved the thing that Dr. Rosen said about how we are a team. And I also loved that they kind of together came up with this plan to out alphas and out the abuses against alphas. That is the best way to take the sting out of Red Flag, is to create a society where alphas have rights, where alphas are not mistreated and just sent to prison without trial and experimented on without their consent and everything like that, because then the majority of alphas would be like, okay, joining your organisations could be fun, or I could live a perfectly normal and happy life. And, you know, they will take a lot of that out. Now, obviously, Red Flag will escalate, they will do things that will stir up hate against alphas, they will strike against non-alphas, they may even stage attacks against alphas to get alphas like, whoa, I'm being oppressed, you know, it's going to be a mess next season. But I think what they did was brave, and it really was them sticking by their principles, and it really made me happy that it was Dr. Rosen that was the one that did it, that he was, because I mean they could arrest him right now because he's outed state secrets, I'm sure he signed some kind of NDA or something, but he has promised he would do everything to protect his team. He has promised that he will be there for them, and right now this is ultimately being there for them. This is admitting his own mistakes in the sense of like outing Binghamton, but this is being there for his team, doing what is right, not what he's told from above. And I think this shows that over the course of this season he's really woken up to just how, in a lot of ways, how false his promises were, and he's doing his best to make them right. Now his daughter, like I said at the beginning of my reviews sometimes do go all over the place, and I'm sorry about that, it's just where my brain takes me, and my brain is a strange place. I can totally, my heart breaks for her and what she went through, for that feeling of being ill or being different, and then having kind of your father view you as not good enough or whatever, and whether that was all in her head, he clearly didn't do enough to make her realise that that was not the case. And then obviously their marriage of her parents broke up, and she would have felt like, and I think having been doing the tea thing until the mum left, until she was like, what, 12, part of her would have felt if only I'd done that better, they'd still be together. Clearly, I think Dr. Rosen has learned a lot, and I think having his team, especially people like Nina or Rachel, Nina most especially, who needed a father figure in their lives, he's kind of made his mistakes, but he's also can see where he went wrong. And I think if she was coming to him with a genuine fresh start, clean heart, I think he would definitely be able to make a lot of progress with her. Especially being a therapist, hopefully he would know how to approach her. And the key thing with these kind of situations where a parent has wronged a child is for the parent to not expect, because they said sorry, it's all okay. For a parent to acknowledge their mistakes, to, you know, acknowledge that they are accountable, to be okay if the child says, actually, you're also accountable for these things. And then to offer their support, to offer their love, and to offer to be in the child's life, and to take it at the pace the child wants. To, you know, don't, if sort of remind them they're there. If they say so, we'll go away, then, you know, after a little bit just say, oh hi, just thinking of you, you know, be present but not, don't impose yourself on them, but also don't just leave. And I think he could have done a really good job. I believe getting her to use her ability on him to show her how she felt and how he made her feel all those years was really powerful. And I do believe in the next season she's probably going to be a little bit torn between the two, but clearly she is very ideologically aligned with old evil pants Paris. Stanton Paris, is that his name? And I wonder how many of those 15 years she has been with Red Flag, because I imagine a scared, lonely alpha child on the run is probably going to get taken in by them pretty damn quickly. Was the whole thing a setup, including Will dying? Or does she believe that it was Anna and that lot that killed Will, and it wasn't all set up by Stanton, and eventually be able to prove to her that Will did die? You know, did she think it was Will? I don't know, just where does she, is she totally 100% aligned to him, was willing to sacrifice Will, you know, she's ride or die with Red Flag and Paris, or is she being, I mean, she is being manipulated either way, but is she still being manipulated? Is he saying, oh, isn't it awful that those other bad Red Flag agents killed your boyfriend, and isn't it bad that your father's still bad and evil and I'll protect you? But it was too good to be true, her coming back in. And the thing that for the first time made me think, and I probably should have thought earlier and I'm annoyed at myself that I didn't, was when they were just having dinner together, and you know, she was just wearing a nice dress and just being kind of, she was being open to the idea of him as her father. You know, she didn't still have that anger. A lot of the anger seemed to have drained away, and that happened very quickly. And I know from experience what it's like to have a lot of anger towards a parent and to feel like they have hurt you and to want them to make it up to you, and you kind of, I could see her giving him a chance, but it was kind of, I don't know, there was something about how quickly she came around that had me concerned, especially as for a plot it would be very useful for her to be linked to it. And him coming to Dr. Rosen's house was terrifying. I'm so excited about season 2, the idea of season 2, where it might go from here. And I think it's something really special about the fact that as much as they might regret their part in wiping out Anna's cell of Red Flag, or, you know, that group, they kind of fulfilled their plan of stopping a lot of Parrish's plans by outing alphas. But the world is going to look like a very different place tomorrow. Like if I turned on the news right now, or if I get a text like, oh my god, check the news, and it was saying superpowered humans exist, the world would change forever. So that is just such a fascinating concept. And I wonder, I hope did the writers have a plan? Did they have a 5-year plan and obviously it got cancelled after season 2? Or was it kind of one of those situations, and I kind of know Falling Skies, I love Falling Skies, but they would write themselves into a hole, and then when it came to planning season 2, they'd be like, right, now what? But no, I absolutely love this show. Thank you so much, Leslie, for your support and for sponsoring this show. I've enjoyed season 1 so much, and yes, thank you so much for watching.